First Watch with Sheriff Mark Daniels on KWCD Bisbee Sierra Vista. Hosted by Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
And welcome to your Friday, 4th of July. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Sheriff Mark Daniels and Carol Kappas. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Happy birthday, everyone.
So let's talk about first, we've got some people that listen to the show every Friday, and you had an interaction with them.
I did. So yesterday, I was heading to my office in Bisbee, and I see a car that had a blowout. This is a good safety tip, too. Check your tires, check the air pressure, make sure your tires aren't dry rotted. But what happened in this case is it came a blowout from the sidewalls. So it was right there at Hereford Road 92 on the pavement, blocking the intersection. And so it was an elderly couple that were out there trying to address this. An elderly gentleman sitting in the car. Again, traffic trying to go around them. So I pulled in there. First, I thought it was an accident. I'll be honest with you, because of the car traffic flow. Pulled in there and saw what it was. And I got out, got my jack. I have a better jack than what they had. Those scissor jacks are just not my thing. So got out there and talked to them to give them a hand on changing the tire. And to our loyal viewers, she made a comment to me. She goes, "Sheriff, are we going to be your stop of the week on First Watch?" And I said, "You will be now." So thank you. I just want to say thank you for listening to our show every Friday, but also that I had the opportunity just to meet you. I mean, such sweet. They're both all so sweet out there on this stop, and we talked for a few minutes, and so again, thank you. Thanks for watching listening to the show, and hopefully, now watch today. They're not listening, but I told her we're going to put it out there, so hopefully she's listening today. But again, appreciate it.
And thanks for being our special guest for being
yes, and we need to get her in the studio. So if you ever reach out to the Sheriff's Department, reach out to Carol Kappas or Grady Butler, and we'll get you into the show once so you can listen to us. Or just sit here and listen to us one day.
See how it works.
See how it works, yeah. See how the production team puts this together.
That's right. I think that would be very cool.
Yes.
Give us a call.
Give us a call. Or anybody. If you want to see our show on a Friday morning, see how we put it together, and see the work that goes involved putting this show together. Look, you guys are looking like I'm crazy. But
he's opened a can of worms.
Yes, I have. So, alrighty.
All right. So, hey, 4th of July. Let's talk about some heat, some rain, hopefully. Hopefully it won't, mess up parades, but we are going to be everywhere today.
We are. It's a special day. I mean, we're going to be in parades from Sunsites to Douglas to Benson, Bisbee. I mean, Palominas. I'm starting mine off just to break my schedule down. I'll be in Palominas at 9 o'clock for their parade. Then there's a dedication at 10 o'clock at Palominas Road and 92. Reference, that's where the old highway used to go through. And Dale Stoner has built the monument marker to recognize that. So they're going to do this ceremony at 10 o'clock. They've asked me to come out and be part of this. So I'm going to be out there at 10 o'clock for that. Once that's done, I'm going to head over to Bisbee for their parade at 11 o'clock, do their parade. Carol, thank you for getting us at the front of parades and back of parades so we can make all these. And then from there, I'm heading to Benson for their celebrations up there. I'm going to miss their parade, but I'll be at their celebration at their park. I think it's Lions Park up there. And then come back and enjoy the Sierra Vista festivities. So I will be all over the place, and our team will too. We got deputies and folks all over from Douglas, you name it. So we can participate in each one of our communities, and I call it wave our brand, wave our flag out there in support of the U.S. flag.
And the United States turns 249, and we have a couple of officers that we honored this week that haven't been there that long, but they've been here a long time.
One's close. But in all fun, it's Tom Molina. Tom Molina has been with the Sheriff's Department this month. He hit 50 years in law enforcement. Tom was actually in Vietnam. I mean, served a successful tour over there, if there's such a thing. But successful in the fact that he made it home and joined law enforcement in 1975. Think about that. And a lot of people driving their cars this morning, especially young people, going, wow. They still roam. I know. Scary. But long story short is, Tom started with Chuka City, worked at Sierra Vista Police Department for 38 years, became a police chief there, tried to retire. He thought he was going to retire, and then I scooped him up and said, come help me at the sheriff's office. He's my chief of staff. So, Tom, congratulations to you and your family. 50 years wearing the badge. And if I'm not mistaken, which could happen, He's the longest serving active law enforcement in the state of Arizona. Jim Driscoll, Coconino County Sheriff, retired in December because Jim was the longest serving from what I understand. So again, but either way, he is up there after 50 years. So Tom, thank you for your service and thank you for your dedication to our community.
And Commander Black.
Commander John Black. I want to give him a shout out. John is a retired colonel from MI colonel. Was chief of staff, I believe, up on Fort Huachuca. Up there's a colonel also. Again, I met him back in the day. My family worked for John. That's how I've heard the name before I met the physical John. Long story short is he has ran our SAT team after Ron Slider, which was initially picked back in 2000, 2001 to help put together the Sheriff's Assist team, and then John took over the reins when Ron moved on. So John's been with us 20 years and been running SAT for my whole time I've been sheriff, which has been 13 years. So I think he's probably about 15, 16 years running SAT, but he does an amazing job. He's a heck of a leader, heck of a guy, and again, proud to have him on our team, just like Tom, and thank to both. John, Tom, thank you for your service to Cochise County.
And we have a sad note with J.D. Rottweiler's father passing away. You know, it is the Rottweiler legacy for Cochise County and beyond, so it's an unfortunate thing, and our hearts and our prayers and our blessings go out to the entire family.
Yeah, Mr. Rottweiler, J.D.'s dad, passed away last week. Just a great man. Large in size, large in personality, just a large man. When he filled the room and you know he was in there. And I'm telling you, just such a calm, welcoming voice. And like JD, even though JD's not silent, if you know what I mean. He's got a large voice, man. You know he's in the room. But his dad, obviously, and I told JD this the other day, and I was texting him, is the fact that his dad set a legacy, his mom and dad both, and JD's carrying that legacy along with his children now. But on behalf of the Cochise County Sheriff's Office, all law enforcement that worked with JD on this academy and all the college folks over there, our prayers and thoughts for Mr. Rottweiler and the family.
What is your update for us on the jail?
Well, you probably saw some news this week on the jail. The Board of Supervisors is looking for site selection. We had experts come in. These are experts that look at the efficiency of it, the effectiveness of it. At the end of the day, they look and say, where's the best place to put it? Well, they recommend. They're a recommending body based on what I just talked about. And they look at everything from court location, medical location, staffing location. I mean, all the things. I hope I'm not saying more than what they did, but I know I spent time with them on this, and they asked me about operational issues. And as a sheriff, as somebody's got constitutional authority to operate the jail and sustain the jail, we also have a recommendation which matches the experts. Put it back at the exact same location. It's got the infrastructure in there. It's close to the courts. Majority of my staff live in between Bisbee and Douglas and Sierra Vista, so they're in the southern part of our county. I think it was like 70-80%, Carol, something like that. But and that's a big factor. It's a huge factor. So it just makes sense. So I put a position paper on. You can go to our Facebook page. You can read it all when it comes to my support for that. So there seems to be a debate where to put it. Well, next Thursday, I believe it's at 5:30. And verify the time, please. They're going to have a public meeting on that. But take a look at our document on our Facebook. If you want a copy, call our office. We can give you a copy of it. It's a public record on that. It's our team, and I say it's not Sheriff Daniels. I have experts that work in the jail. My commander, Kenny Bradshaw, is a retired deputy warden from the state prisons. Spent almost 40 years now in the correctional business. He's my go-to guy. I didn't grow my career on the correctional side. I grew up on the sworn side, the enforcement side. So, but I take advice from him and his team that they spent their whole careers on authored that letter on their behalf. So again, take a look at it. Again, opinions are always welcome. Always welcome. Don't read this wrong. But the experts, when it comes to efficiency and effectiveness, I think have a lot to do with this final recommendation.
And you were also busy at the RACES annual meeting. It was on last Saturday at Sierra Vista Veterans Memorial Park. And you know, you may not hear about this group or what they do, but I'm telling you, in the time of crisis or a major event, they are there. They are the people behind the scenes, but they're the ones that are coordinating and organizing and communicating.
They are. They're the communication backbone for any disaster. I mean, whether it's human cause, Mother Nature up there, We need a little more Mother Nature, by the way, right now. You know what I mean? We need a little rain, Mother Nature, if you're hearing this show. She's a viewer, I'm sure. But the bottom line is this. They're there for us. They're volunteers that come out and give their time, give their effort, and give their expertise to make sure in a crisis that we have communication. So they had an annual event, which is a nationwide annual event. And so I went out last Saturday, stopped by, and they had us sign in. They had us all sign in to see how many people show up, I'm sure, whatever they were doing there. So I'm signing in, and they said the mayor was here, Mayor McCall. Now, Mayor McCall and I are good friends, so please don't read this wrong. And they said Mayor McCall was here. I said, I don't see his name. Oh, he forgot to sign in. I go, then really was Mayor McCall here? I would have to say no, he was not here. So I was here. Let's make that noted on the radio, and there's paperwork to show it. So again, Mayor McCall, and I know he posted some things on there right afterwards. Nice try, Mayor. You're not on the roster. Sorry.
Well, let's talk about your appointment, and then you also went to D.C. under this appointment. But remind everybody where you were appointed to.
So I was honored to be appointed on behalf of America's sheriffs, and that's what I represent, and this community, of course, to the Homeland Security Advisory Council. It's a council that advises the Secretary and President when it comes to homeland issues, FIFA, Super Bowl, border issues, things of community nature that at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So we had our first meeting in D.C. We had a social at the Secretary's house, Secretary Noem's house. We went over there, had a social there, a meet and greet, went to a dinner event that night. Next day we had our first official meeting. It was at the situation room, excuse me. Very impressed with that. But we all had to present. And I'll just say this, looking from the community up, and really, and I don't say it to be derogatory, but it's really, my optics are within a community. They have been for 40 years. So hopefully I'll bring some value to that. I'm going to bring my personality with it. That's not going to change. But I'm bringing Cochise County with me. And I think that's so important. But they were well supported. Everybody was very cordial, a very esteemed group of colleagues, and I mentioned that the ability to sit in the room and talk to some of the people, and I will learn a lot too. But again, at the end of the day, I recognize about a third of the people in the room, and I met a lot of new friends and a lot of esteemed, well-accomplished, well-achieved people in this country and beyond. So again, I'm looking forward to it, but never. My biggest thing I want to share with the viewers today is I'm sharing Cochise County in a position now that they know exactly what happens here and what they need to hear. So again, I'm very honored, and thank you. And thanks to this community for trusting me to be there too.
And of course, we're now in the 4th of July weekend. There's going to be lots of festivities, so our safety message is going to default to something that it seems like it's beating a dead horse, but people still do it. Don't drink and drive.
Don't drink and drive. Exactly. You want to change your life. I mean, and that's what that means. I mean, whether you harm somebody, harm yourself, either way, your reputation and freedom are everything. And all I can say is it's a celebratory weekend. We want to have fun. We want to celebrate our nation's 249th birthday. But at the end of the day, we want you to go home safe. We want you to wake up with a smile and say, that was a great day. And I made some memories. We don't want you to wake up as a guest to my hotel, the Cochise County Jail, and then you realize and shake your head what happened. So please be safe out there, and let's all protect each other. But it starts with good friends, good common sense, and good intent.
And so you also had a stop of the week that's unique, and we went from you going to D.C. to represent Cochise County, and I guess you continued on that vein for illegal activity?
Well, let me say this, Carol. Anybody who knows me knows there's two things I have pet peeves in life as a sheriff, and just life itself. Rudeness. I don't like rude people. And last is laziness. If you ever say I'm rude, let's talk, because something's misunderstood. There's a misunderstanding somewhere. But last is laziness. You can say a lot of things about me. You can say, "Guy, he's short, he's got no hair," whatever you want to say. But if you say I'm lazy or rude, I mean, something's wrong. We're gonna have to talk. But in this case, and those that know me too, is Cochise County is a discretionary boundary. I'm just kidding on that. But so I was in D.C., went to a dinner event, and I was coming out, and I had my commander with me, Commander Kenny Bradshaw, and we walked across the street. And in the bigger urban communities, you'll see dirt bikes and quads that rip them down streets. It's kind of a thing now. I don't understand it, but they terrorize the streets in these residential neighborhoods and these streets. Well, here comes two of them. So they come ripping up the street, And Kenny and I made a comment about it. I can't believe they're allowed to do that. Here in Cochise County, you're not going to do that. You're not going to rip up and down Fry Boulevard without having some consequences. So, or anywhere else. And so, we kept walking, and I turned back to cross the street, and I see red and blues. Well, the undercover cop, actually stops the one quad and gets him blocked in. The driver of the quad gets out and runs. I see him run. Well, I think you all know me well enough now. That was the introduction to here we go. So I told Kenny, and I said, Kenny, let's go back over there. And he was a little hesitant. We travel. We've had a couple other incidents like this. And one being a shooting, by the way. And most people don't know about that story. I'll tell it sometime. We went back up to the intersection where this was going on, and the cops were around. The guy got away. Well, here comes the other quad with that driver of the first quad on the back. Come up the wrong way of the street, and they start flipping off the cops and just taunting these law enforcement. Blocking traffic. I mean, just anything. I'm thinking, wow, what a shame. I was so impressed with D.C. cops, how they handle it, their professionalism, their patience, and they took off. So within 15 seconds, 30 seconds, the passenger jumped off. Here comes that driver of the second quad coming up there. Coming in at traffic wrong way. So I told Commander Bradshaw, I said, it's going to get good. This will get good. Pulled back up and started taunting the cops again. Well, the one cop started talking to him very professionally, but as he was talking, he was slowly walking toward him, and got to the point where he felt he could grab him, and then just bursted toward the driver. The guy jumped off the UTV, started running, ran. The suspect ran right by me. I mean, literally, I took all my disciplines and probably good judgment not to tackle him or trip him. But the cop took his taser out, tased him. They grabbed the guy, trying to get him in cuffs and stuff. So I went over to the quad in the middle of the street because it was traffic, and another cop walks up with, hey, I said, listen, I'm a sheriff in Arizona. It's all right. And so I said, I got this. I'll watch it. I'll get it off the road if you go help your friend. So I got it off the road, but Commander Bradshaw actually took a picture of me out there and stuff. And the only thing funny is when I'm out there, we're dealing with this, trying to prevent crime in D.C., I heard a squeal, and that was my commander over there. He was a little scared, but we took care of him too. He's fine, everybody. I know he's listening this morning, so I had to say that. I'm sorry, Kenny, but I had to say that because I have the microphone. You don't. But either way, I commended the D.C. cops. That's the moral of the story. Their professionalism, their disciplines, their tactics were just amazing. So I told them that. And they were like, where you sheriff at? I said, Arizona. And we're talking out of those places. And it was great. Cops are cops no matter where you're at in this country. At the end of the day, we're trying to make our community safe.
Commander Bradshaw, there is a medical condition. If you roll your eyes too hard, they could stick like that. So please be safe.
Thank you, Carol, for saying that right now, because he's going, uh-oh, because he did. And he's out there talking to my assistant. Did you hear what the sheriff just said about me? So we make sure he tunes in tomorrow and beyond to keep listening to our shows because we like Kenny.
Well, Sheriff Mark Daniels, before you go, give us a good 4th of July message.
Happy birthday to our nation. Greatest nation on earth. I think we all would agree with that, and hopefully that's not even up for debate. And have a safe 4th. I wish you well with your families, your friends, and let's keep it safe. Thank you, everyone.
And the rest of the show is going to be all about the 4th of July. We got a whole bunch of stuff coming up for you. Carol, who do we have coming in?
Action-packed, I'm telling you. We have Fry Fire Chief Mark Savage to talk about fireworks safety. We have Randy Suskin from the Rotary Club to talk about all things that are amazing with even putting the show on. We have Stephanie from Huachuca City talking about all of the festivities in that hamlet. And we have Brittany from Sierra Vista Animal Care and Control on what to expect with your pets and how to keep them safe.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas. And our next guest is Fire Chief Savage from the Fry Fire Department. Good morning.
Good morning, Grady.
All right, so 4th of July is fireworks. We're going to talk about fireworks safety. But before we get to that, let's talk about the fire risk that is happening right now.
Just between us, our fire risk right now this year is worse than it's ever been.
Wow.
I know technically we're probably a couple weeks into the monsoon season, but our partners at the Coronado National Ranger District have shared some fuel moisture data with us, and it's worse this year than it's ever been in my career. I know we talk about the Monument Fire. Fuel moistures for the entire year are way below 2011 and well below 2025. So what that means is that the fire risk is that much higher, any potential sources of ignition can start a fire, and that keeps me up.
So the 4th of July, today kind of makes you nervous.
I'm hoping for some rain.
Good, yes. Okay, so let's talk about some fireworks safety now. So first of all, what is legal to light?
So if you purchase a firework in a local store or at a tent, it's legal, okay? Those are limited to ground application sparklers, volcanoes. What's not legal is anything that fires a projectile like Roman candles, or anything that shoots up aerially, or anything that explodes.
So even firecrackers.
As small as they are, as innocuous as they seem, firecrackers are still not legal.
Well, let's talk about where we're allowed to light fireworks.
So you have to light them on private property, which again creates probably more fire risk for us, but you can't light them in any public space or any streets. It has to be on private property. That said, if you are going to light them on private property, please, I beg of you, make sure that it's well away from any kind of ignitables, any grass, any brush, well separate from anything that can start a fire.
And that leads us to our next topic, which is going to be supervision.
You know, keep them away from young children. Older children, if they're under close adult sober supervision, they're okay, but yeah, they're ridiculously dangerous. And although it's a holiday that we want to help people celebrate, we want to make sure that they celebrate safely.
And that includes sparklers. A lot of people think sparklers are safe for little kids.
They're because they're just like sparkling candles on a birthday cake, right? But sparklers burn at about 2,000 degrees. And at that temperature, it only takes a fraction of a second to result in a significant burn, whether it's, accidentally grabbed, or it burns down to a hand, or drips, or gets dropped or stepped on, whatever. Burns happen super fast, and they're tough on kids.
And you also mentioned, when you were talking about supervision, you said adult sober supervision, because it's a holiday, so I know people will be having some fun with drinks, but you need to keep that a little separate.
Absolutely. Make sure that whoever's supervising the fireworks, supervising the kids, is in their best possible mindset. Now,
we hear stories throughout the U.S. where people are losing fingers because of fireworks or fires, or you've told me that there's some stats that you brought along with us, and these stats are kind of crazy.
It is crazy. I was looking at it, preparing to talk with you this morning, and looked at the data from last year, and surprisingly, there were 11 deaths last year from fireworks.
Wow.
Which that blew my mind. But what also blew my mind is there were almost 15,000 ER visits that resulted from fireworks, which was about a 50% increase from 2023. So please enjoy the holiday. Please celebrate responsibly, but stay safe.
Stay safe. Stay situationally aware, and I think you'll be fine. But, man, supervision's great, and what's legal and not legal, I think you'll have a nice, safe 4th of July.
We can't wait to celebrate it.
All right, it's going to be fun today, so make sure you keep the big stuff to the professionals, but now you know what's legal, what's not legal, where you can and cannot fire fireworks, and you've got some pretty scary stats there to just make sure you focus on what you're doing today. We really appreciate it. And Mark Savage, we thank you for coming and talking to us today and catching us up on everything with the Fry Fire Department.
Thank you, Grady.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Campus and our next guest from Huachuca City. Hi, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Fulton. I'm the Director of the Library and Community Services in the town of Huachuca City.
And the 4th of July today is going to be a lot of fun in Huachuca City.
Oh my gosh, it is. We're already, I have to go straight there and start prepping, but everything is going to start at 4 p.m. at Leffingwell Park. And for those of you who don't know where that is, it's directly behind Town Hall and the police station and the fire station. So you want to look for School Drive, turn off there, and then you can park in the parking lot. We have so much arranged. We're going to have the color guard from a local Girl Scout troop. And then we have a live band from 4 till 8 p.m. That's Raucous. They're local. They are so awesome. They've played for us for the last 2 years, and we love them. And then we're going to have lots of different organizations with games set up with prizes for the kids. The library is going to have some tables where we can do rock painting. The Lions Club is going to be there with cornhole. Someone's going to be bringing a giant sprinkler system. So it's going to be really good fun. But not only that, we're going to have 2 pie eating contests, which are always tremendously popular, one for the adults and one for the kids. And during that time as well, we're actually going to have 4 cakewalks, 2 for the adults and 2 for the kids. There's no charge to get involved in any of these. I have to say, though, the adults sometimes misbehave a little bit compared to the kids, but it's all free and it's good fun. We also are going to have a free raffle. You'll have free raffle tickets at the information desk that will tell you everything that's going on. And then our pool will be open that day from 12 until 6, and that is free of charge. Not only everything that I've just mentioned, but we're going to be having free food thanks to generous donations of local organizations and businesses. We're going to have free hot dogs, chips, beans, watermelon, soda, water. And then we're also going to be providing snow cones and popcorn, so a real down-home 4th of July experience. Our council members will be out cooking and handing out the hot dogs. All of the town staff are involved. And then at dusk, we're going to have a spectacular fireworks show. It really is amazing. And again, it is totally free of charge. You don't have to live in Huachuca City or Whetstone. You can come from anywhere and join us and have fun. And I have to say that it's very fun watching all the kids with the pie eating contest. Definitely, you have to be there for that, for sure.
Now, you mentioned that the pool is open today. Let's talk about pool hours real quick.
Yeah, so for the month of July, our pool is open Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12 to 6 p.m., and then Saturdays and Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. And that's for all of July. And then in August, we switched to just Saturdays and Sundays from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Of course, pool hours are subject to our weather conditions. We have the monsoons, hopefully, coming up. So it's always a good idea to give the library a call, give Town Hall a call, or check our Facebook pages. And there is a number for the pool to call to see if they are open.
Well, we thank you for coming and talking to us today, and invite everybody out to your 4th of July party today.
Thank you, and we look forward to celebrating America's birthday with you.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas, and our next guest from Sierra Vista Animal Care and Control. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Brittany Schultz. I'm an animal control officer with the Nancy J. Brew Animal Care Center.
All right, and the 4th of July fireworks often wreaks havoc with pets. Tell us what we can do with our pets tonight.
Absolutely. To keep your pets safe and make sure that they are at home, we would suggest not taking them to the event in the park. Keep them indoors or secured in a room or kennel so that they don't escape your property.
All right, and is there other things that we can do, like maybe play loud music?
Absolutely. We would suggest trying to play some music to kind of help drown out the noises, as well as you have calming treats to give that to them to help secure them and make sure that they feel comfortable.
All right, so pet comfort is the thing tonight. So let's say that a dog or cat or somebody does escape tonight because they get just rattled by the fireworks. What's going to happen?
So we'll get a few calls that some animals are running around. Our animal control officers or our police department will be out trying to get them taken care of. If you're missing an animal, we suggest that you call either the dispatch number at 520-803-3555 to make a loss report, or you can call the shelter at 520-458-4151 to see if we have your animal.
And are you going to be open tomorrow?
We will be from 12 to 5.
All right, so let's give contact information for the Nancy J. Brewer Animal Care Center.
Of course. So you guys can find us on Facebook at the Nancy J. Brewer Animal Care Center. You can also come see us at 6799 East Highway 90 and give us a call at 520-458-4151.
Well, Brittany, we thank you for coming and talking today about the pets on the 4th of July.
Thank you for having me.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas, and our next guest, it's Randy Siskind from the Sierra Vista Rotary Club. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Now, you're here to talk about all things 4th of July, and I know stuff started last night in the park, but today is when it really kicks off.
Well, actually, it really kicked off last night, and for all of you that were there, thank you very much. And for you, if you weren't there, you missed it, but come on out today, because like Grady said, it started this morning and is going all day through the fireworks tonight.
And I understand that something is actually going on right now.
Yes, it's the Pets and People Promenade produced by New Frontier Animal Medical Center.
All right, well, let's run through the day. What do you got planned for us?
Oh, it's a long one, guys. Hang in there. So after the Pets and People Promenade, we do have we're going to have a reflection with Captain Brent Church from the Salvation Army, and then the civic presentation from the Boy Scout Troop and American Heritage Girls, then Desert Thunder Gymnastics, and then the biggie, the Salute to the Union with the 50 state cannon salute, and that's going to be narrated by Robert LaPosta, and the commanding general Applehans from Fort Huachuca is going to be our guest speaker. Our club president and the mayor is going to read a proclamation that's brought in by B Troop, and again the 50 state cannon salute, and then the F-16 flyover.
That's my favorite part.
And if you just got to look up, because they will come out of the southeast sky and just come over your head.
And you're only halfway through the day at this point.
Yeah, about a third maybe.
Keep going. What you got?
Okay, what else do we got? So after the flyover, then we have the Sierra Vista Community Band. Then we have the Star World Academy Tang Sudo, Hula Lima, Sierra Vista Dance Company. Those are two local dance companies. And the Sierra Vista Community Theater, they're going to be featuring some of their current show and their upcoming shows. Then Lee's Cardio Kickboxing. And then we have a new band that's going to be playing with us for the first time, and it's called Soul Medicine.
And what time do they start?
They start at 7 o'clock.
Okay, so now we're getting close to the fireworks. So you're still in Veterans Memorial Park. Should you head to Stone Sports Complex? Can you stay there? What do you need to do?
You can see all the aerial fireworks from the park. So if you're in the park and Soul Medicine's already playing, all you got to do is turn to the right and look up.
Nice.
At about 8:15. But we'll also make an announcement and turn off all the lights so people can see. You know, because it's kind of hard with the lights on to see the fireworks. And then, again, if you want to see the whole fireworks show, ground show, Vinny's Waterfall, and all of the aerials, then you want to be at the Stone Complex, which is over down the end of Tacoma behind City Hall.
And the fireworks are rain or shine, is that correct?
Fireworks are rain or shine.
All right, well, tell us about this year's show.
So this year's show is big. As we have been told by our fireworks supplier, we have one of the biggest shows in the entire state, and we have the best grand finale. And our pyrotechnic crew that shoots off these fireworks for you guys are all volunteer. They put in their time. They get certified each year to be able to shoot the fireworks off, and it just makes it a great show. And the people on the pyrotechnic crew have all been doing it 15 plus years, and it's multi-generational. There are people that started with their parents when they were teenagers, and they're still on the crew today.
That's pretty cool. Well, the Sierra Vista Rotary Club is who puts this on in conjunction with
the city of Sierra Vista and Fort Huachuca.
All right, and you guys work on this actually all year long, raising money, doing things. So tell us a little bit about the Sierra Vista Rotary Club.
The Sierra Vista Rotary Club, we are a civic organization that we do local projects for the local community, scholarships, different projects at Fort Gash House, Good Neighbor Alliance, the school, different schools around, and other places. And Rotary International's main goal is to eradicate the world of polio. But this event, obviously, the majority of the money that we raise goes to pay for the fireworks, so we don't have to have any public money go towards the fireworks. Do we get a lot of help from the city in Fort Huachuca? Absolutely. But is your funds as local individuals, local businesses that help us put this on.
And we want to thank the Sierra Vista Rotary Club for doing that. A few housekeeping things we need to do for the 4th of July is remember on the bypass when the fireworks are started, you cannot park on the bypass. Law enforcement will be patrolling that area, so don't try to park there. Also, there's no fireworks on any public lands to include Stone Sports Complex, and also sparklers. Don't have sparklers. A lot of times people don't know that they stick those in the ground and you could step on them. But fireworks or sparklers, none, please. And also, if you are going to take a grill out there, it can only be a gas grill. No charcoal grills are allowed at the Stone Sports Complex. And then when you're entering and leaving, make sure you follow law enforcement prompts. Watch for people that are directing traffic. On exit, there's only certain ways you could go. If you have to go the other way, just go the way you're supposed to and loop back around. But follow directions of the people that are directing traffic. All right, so let's talk about sponsors for a little bit.
Actually, before I talk about the sponsors, I just want to let everybody know that in the park all day during the events, there are food vendors, craft vendors, merchandise vendors, all different kinds of vendors, military displays, so you can come out, have something to eat, have an adult beverage, have a regular beverage, and just come out and spend the day, put up lawn chairs and just hang out and have a great time and have all the entertainment on the stage.
It's going to be a great time. So this couldn't happen without the Rotary Club, Sierra Vista, Fort Huachuca, but there's also a list of sponsors that we want to give their due. And as you listen to this list of sponsors, thank them next week when you're in their business and tell them that you appreciate what they did for our community and the fireworks show.
So we're going to kick this off with our titanium sponsor, Vinny's New York Pizza. 4th of July was Vinny's favorite holiday of the year, and he has been a longtime sponsor of our event, and they are always our largest sponsor by at least $1.
I love it.
Each year, because Vinny made that agreement with our pyrotechnic coordinator many years back, and Chip has now held true to that. I can say it's probably more than by $1, but we'll leave it at that for now. But I appreciate everything that Chip and Vinny's does for us as our titanium sponsor. And then our red, white, and blue sponsors, B&R Paving, Town Square Media, K101, KWCD, and Thunder 98.1. Herald Review Media, and B&R Paving, which is a new sponsor this year, and we thank them for stepping up and helping out. And then our Patriot sponsors, Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, Pioneer Title, Stan Greer Millworks, Ace Hardware, Mule Mountain Pest Control, Ed Morse Automotive Group, Williams Mello Law, Stickler Web Insurance, WIC Communications, Guild Mortgage, Steve Hester and Patty Carnival, Sierra Toyota, Grasshopper Landscaping, Sean and Yanni Phillips, Shenega IT Services, Allo Fiber, Kenyon Vista Medical Center, and then we get into the Liberty sponsors, Deborah Crisp and Shannon Schofield, Culvers of Sierra Vista, Southwest Gas, La Casita Mexican Restaurant, Phillips Eye Care, Barnett's Towing and Propane, Mr. Fix-It, the Sierra Vista Rotary Satellite Club, which is one of our other clubs in town, Edward Jones, Kerry Agion Farmers Insurance, Artistic Roofing Systems, Sukasa Builders, and now we're into the Freedom sponsors and Cochise Motorsports, Harder Holdings, the Sierra Vista South Rotary Club, and then some of the other ones are just individuals. Well, they'll be noted elsewhere. And then we have supporting contributors of the Kiwanis Club of Sierra Vista. So this is not just the Rotary clubs in town. It is also, we get a lot of help from other clubs as well.
Well, we really appreciate the community stepping up to give us this fireworks show that we're going to see tonight, because it is truly spectacular. And we thank the Sierra Vista Rotary Club for being at the helm of this whole project. And Randy, you've been doing this for years, so thank you to you as well.
You know, my thanks is seeing everybody have a great time, and the fireworks show is just amazing. And it's not just Vinny's favorite holiday.
Well said. First Watch is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
You've been listening to First Watch, brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. Keep up to date. Follow the Cochise County Sheriff's Office on Facebook and tune in next Friday, 7 a.m. for First Watch right here on KWCD.